Call your friends. Get them in.
Yeah, wake up your friends.
So this game is starting, Dance versus ACdC, and the map is Daybreak.
Daybreak is one of my favorite maps. Blink is not as easy of a thing. You can do a little bit of a blink over this, the gaps between what would be the potential third base and the mains, but not as big of an issue.
Well, in the lower left, we have our Protoss in the orange trunks, who's currently down a game. Can he come back and take game 2? It is Dance.
We've seen some nice Kirby dancing from him in chat. In the top right, we've got our blue Protoss this game, so now I'm going to have to change my colors. It's ACdC.
Dance is lamenting about his Kirby dance not being there.
Let's see, what are we? Blue? There we go. Now we're looking pretty. Lost it. Come back. Don't know why the scoreboard decides to disappear at random intervals. Looks like we've got pylons going down for everybody, probes going down for everybody. Another two-person map. I think it really seems like, I don't know, me as Protoss, when I'm playing PvP, I like to send out my probe scout right after I build that pylon so I can get in and make sure that there are pylons and gateways in the opponent's base, first of all, and second of all, to just see the gas timings and stuff. It seems like we haven't had a whole lot of super early scouting, which I think has maybe been a factor with that Oracle. But also, they've been getting out enough units to get that ramp secured, largely skipping the Zealots at first, going for the Stalkers, which is easier to chase down the probes as Dance is going to move out. Oh, I've got the colors all screwed up on this thing. Look at this base here for a second while I switch this around. Dance is on the other side, and he is orange. And we've got blue for him. Now we're looking good.
There we go.
Gas going down for ACdC, as ACdC is going to send his probe around to scout. Dance going to come in and see one gas, one gateway, one pylon, totally normal. Same thing going on in Dance's base.
Both opting for the 3 workers in gas. Decided not to do the 2 assimilator with 2 workers in each this time.
ACdC's Cybercore was delayed momentarily while the probes were giving chase to that scout. Second gas going, Cybercore going down as well. ACdC is going to see that, know that he's going to be relatively safe here. And then you see that second gas go down, you know there's not going to be any 4-minute pushes necessarily with proxy zealots and all kinds of fun stuff like that.
But with how effective that Oracle...
Looks like ACdC's chrono boosting a Nexus that's not producing anything at the moment.
Yep. With how effective that Oracle play was last game, do you think we're going to see the same thing out of ACdC as he drops his starport?
I do expect to see the same thing out of ACdC now that he dropped his Stargate.
Thank you, Stargate.
Oracle being a pretty staple play, as there's a Zealot out for Dance now trying to give chase to this probe, but alas, the move speed is 281 on a probe, and it is 225 on a Zealot, so that probe, as long as he does not stop moving, can outrun that Zealot.
Dance, having scouted ACdC's starport, decides to put down his own. So it's possible we'll see some high-fiving air units.
So it's interesting now, are they going to go Phoenix versus Phoenix, Oracle versus Phoenix? Obviously that would not be the most ideal.
But we do see an Oracle coming out right away from ACdC.
Dance is putting down a pylon in ACdC's base right next to his Stargate as his Warp Gate finishes, but he does cancel that.
ACdC also sees the Stargate from Dance, and a Phoenix is immediately being pumped out from that.
So we do have Oracle for ACdC versus Phoenix of Dance. It's going to put Dance in a good position as long as he can scout out those. Looks like the Oracle is going to be rallied right the long path to Dance's main. Just like last time, that Phoenix is going to come out and hang out as his buddy is being produced. Dance is going to opt for the expansion, hoping that it's going to be an Oracle coming out of ACdC, and knowing that he has this Phoenix is going to be totally safe here for a while.
Assuming he doesn't move it out of his base like he did last game.
Yeah, but I think he may have a hunch of what's coming.
Right. Yep. We do see the natural going down from Dance. He gets those 2 Phoenix and feeling safe against whatever's coming out of that starport.
Last game, Dance was not able to get a scout on the Stargate, so he didn't actually know that was a thing. We're going to watch this Oracle come in and see what kind of damage it can do. The Phoenix are coming down into a good position. I think they sniff what's cooking.
Dance is trying to get a third Phoenix in production, but he is supply blocked, so that's going to be delayed.
That Stalker is going to shut that down as the Phoenix aren't immediately there. The Oracle is going to target the Stalker, so no probes will be lost. Just a little bit of mining time. That Oracle is a complete waste of minerals and energy as those Phoenix take it right on down.
And ACDC's Phoenix sees that his Oracle buddy was decimated, and he decides to just do scouting instead.
So now we've got a Phoenix coming out of ACDC, so he's now behind in the Phoenix count. So if these two players do keep going for Phoenix, this is going to be quite the interesting battle as the Phoenix versus Phoenix. Oh, now he's going to have Dance to have 2 Phoenix coming in. ACDC's gotten up to 3.
So yeah, the Phoenix count is currently even, but one falls for Dance, putting ACDC ahead in the game. More Phoenix are being chrono boosted out by ACDC.
It is 3-3 Phoenix right now. The
second
natural
starport goes down
done for Dance.
For Dance, he gets another Stargate. Stargate.
So it looks like we're going to see a pretty serious airplay out of Dance and Tuxedo Bond. There is not a Reddit post yet. I was about to make it, but Reddit was lagging this morning, unfortunately. But we had to go live. The show must go on, so I was not able to make that. So I will make it at some point. But if you would love to make it, that would be awesome too.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, post on Reddit about this tournament. Upvote that. Get everybody to know about it so we can show some good StarCraft today. Phoenix is going to be coming into Dance's expansion. He's going to get several probe kills down here as there's no units down. Those Phoenix do respond. They come up and there's going to be some Phoenix death here. Oh my gosh, ACDC losing 2 of his Phoenix, 3 of his Phoenix now. Dance losing 1, and ACDC loses all of his Phoenix. Great response by Dance. He does lose a few probes, but the Phoenix count is now going to be largely in his favor at 4-1 with a Mothership Core coming out for ACDC, knowing he's under pressure by those.
We do see ground units coming out for ACDC.
The Phoenix play in PvP is one of my favorites. It does require a lot higher APM, obviously, but you can keep your opponent pinned, especially if you can get in here to take out this Mothership Core. That is huge, denying that Photon Overcharge. But it looks like he's not going to be able to quite get it. Does some hull damage to that, but those Stalkers are spreading out to make sure those Phoenix do not get anywhere near their mama.
Dance has decided to switch to Void Rays. He does have a little bit of an error in his main where he only has 2 probes mining out of his right gas there. That's going to put him at a little bit of a disadvantage, whereas the other assimilators that he has all have 3 coming out.
If we look at the income tabs, though, with the expansion up for Dance, Dance is mining a whole heck of a lot more minerals and gas than his opponent at almost double the gas and nearly double the minerals.
ACDC, smelling that he has an army lead, he is going to just opt for putting a forward pylon down and gearing up to move into this natural.
I believe both these players Diamond?
I believe they're Masters.
Diamond or Masters? Master League is our highest ranked players here. Unfortunately, we did not have any Grandmasters show up. The couple that we knew of were out of town, unable to make it, but looks like we're going to have a big engagement here. Stalkers versus air units. I believe the Stalkers are going to come out ahead, but we'll see what happens here. 1 Void Ray falls. These Phoenix are taking Stalkers out of the battle by just lifting them up. Those Phoenix, it looks like they're running out of energy, though. The Void Ray is going to fall.
Dance has 2 more Void Rays in production, but the army is not there right now. He retreats to the top of his ramp to try and build a little bit of energy on those Phoenix. But more Stalkers are being warped in by ACDC, and they're just kind of running in here. He's smelling blood.
Dance having a good response, warping in a good number of Stalkers himself, so now he's been able to push ACDC back. ACDC did put down a proxy pylon here, but it looks like he's going to not like the look, as Dance does have the huge economy advantage, so he's going to be able to produce units at a much faster rate than ACDC, so I think ACDC may have missed his window to push there.
Looking at the units lost tab, we do have very even resource numbers there, slightly favoring Dance at the moment.
Thanks, Bubba Raleigh, for looking that up. Bubba Raleigh is one of our tournament admins. Where did my scoreboard go? There it is.
Dance scouts out a idle Phoenix in the middle of the map and gets a few shots on it, which mostly serve to remind ACDC that it's there.
Dance is now going to be moving into ACDC's base. ACDC does not have a Mothership Core. It looks like, oh, he does. Does it have Photon Overcharge available? Yes, it does. So this is going to be assisted by that if he brings that down to use it. Looks like he does. so ACdC is going to be able to hold this push off with relative ease.
Both Void Rays do fall.
And there's another Void Ray headed in, but it's going to be late to the party, unfortunately.
ACdC picks off a few more of those Stalkers as they try to retreat, and units lost is now favoring ACdC.
Units lost is very even, though, as Dance is now going for a third base. Dance is just wanting to get the advantage in this game, as he clearly has it, I think, at the moment, with ACdC's expansion now just being saturated with some probes, putting down his gas, hasn't put anything in it yet. This Phoenix is around the back here trying to do some poking. He knows where that Stargate is, so he's hoping that if he can just kind of hang out there. As that Oracle pops out, this Phoenix is still here. It could do some severe damage to it. Looks like the Stalkers are just now thinking about responding to it, but he decides to pull the Phoenix back.
It looks like Dance is still having some problems managing his gas at home. He has 2 in one assimilator, 1 in another, and 2 in another in the main. So he's really hurting himself. He keeps putting down gas trying to get there, but he's not filling up his assimilators, and that is going to hurt him in the unit production because Protoss, especially air, is very gas heavy.
Due to that, it is actually the gas, there's more gas being mined by ACdC at the moment, even though he's on much far less bases.
And we do see an Oracle coming in by ACdC. He's going to scout that third and get maybe a probe kill. No, he's going to go straight for the natural.
Stalkers and Void Rays are there to respond. This Oracle's going to have a very short and troubled life.
Yep.
But it was a valuable scout.
We do see DTs coming across the map now by ACdC. Because, you know, anytime Dark Shrine.
He does, Dance does have 2 observers. These DTs are going to be a non-issue as well. ACdC is really trying to pull out all the stops to get an advantage back in this game, knowing that his opponent is way up on bases, way up on economy. And Blink is now coming down for ACdC.
That's got to be a real spirit-crushing moment, too, when your 3 DTs that you thought were going to buy you some time just walk into an army and evaporate.
He prayed really hard for those DTs.
He prayed hard, but alas, the gods of Ire, the Xel'Naga, were not listening.
As a Warp Prism is now coming out for Dance, is going to head over to the main. I think he sniffs blood as the units of ACdC are actually coming out on a little bit of an interception course, but it looks like that Warp Prism is going to escape them. If that was just a little bit farther behind, that would have spelled some serious trouble. But ACdC is going to move in towards the third base of Dance, hoping to do some damage. 2 forges there doing upgrades probably are not going to last very long, as Dance is going to have to respond with his entire army. As he does, that pylon's going to come down. Every cannon just come up, but he's going to be pushed back. This is going to delay those upgrades, but I still don't think that ACdC is going to have a real good shot at coming back in this. He's 134 food for Dance to 88 for ACdC, and 3 bases for Dance. ACDC's in a real tough spot. What can he do here to try and get an advantage?
We see a single
back?
DT going into the main, and it doesn't look like there's any cannons there, so we might get some pro kills.
Those observers are hot on the trail.
Dance did see it walking in, and he is quick to move. That DT gets 1 probe kill, 2 probe kills, and then gets destroyed.
We're just looking to see where those observers were. They were with the Void Rays. That Warp Prism being a non-issue so far, he's choosing to warp in some Zealots here. He's going to load those up and drop them in ACDC's main. Well, there is a Void Ray there, so if that Void Ray sniffs it out, it could do some damage to that Warp Prism. There is a Phoenix just kind of poking around through Dance's base, not going to do a whole lot. The largely Stalker army of ACdC is moving out. Looks like we're 0-0 upgrades to 0-0 upgrades.
Yep.
One thing we've seen in PvP yesterday and today is just a huge lack of upgrades.
Yep.
Dance does have some upgrades going down, but they were delayed. But there's a nice aggressive blink that he's going to now pull back. So
the Void Rays are there to cut off the retreat.
Void Rays. That blink ended up not working out so well for ACdC, as he was not able to blink out once those Void Rays snuck around the side. The Warp Prism is going to come in and drop Zealots in the base of ACdC now, but the Void Ray is going to be there to help clean them up. Also warping in a couple Stalkers. This is going to stop a lot of mining for him, even though it's probably not going to do an overall huge amount of damage. That Void Ray is, nice Warp Prism micro there to save those Stalkers. That Warp Prism is going to get out.
It does look like it. We do see 5 gateways going down from Dance as his +1 ground upgrade has finished, so it looks like he's going to be focusing on the ground troops more than the air at this point.
He's got a dual-pronged attack now from Dance. The large majority of his army coming in the natural. Those Zealots are still in the main. This is probably going to spell the end for our friend ACdC.
putting our series at 1-1.
Not going to call it yet, but it's looking pretty grim. Those Void Rays are taking down the stock as well as Zealots are in taking down that Nexus. Photon Overcharge, though, is a factor, and there's the GG from ACdC. A great game played by both players.
Yeah, Dance really was able to secure an economic lead, despite having some issues keeping his assimilators full. That was a theme throughout that entire game, is that he really had a hard time making sure that those assimilators stayed full of probes.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just he was really busy with his APM. It ended up not mattering because he just had such a base lead that even though he was missing putting those probes in gas, he was still at least even in gas production.
Yep.
However, it did seem like he was consuming more gas as he was going heavy Void Rays, but I'm just really interested to see the complete lack of upgrades in Protoss. I mean,
absolutely.
We did see Dance put down those 2 forges, and his upgrades were half done, but that pylon ended up getting taken out, and when we look back, there was only 1 forge there, so I think something must have done some damage to that.
Yep. The ACdC's army was able to snipe it before retreating from that location.